The city we've chosen to bring you guys around is Riyadh. It is located in Saudi Arabia. Riyadh is the capital of Saudi Arabia. It is one of the few cities still ruled by a prince. Many people in Riyadh believe in the religion Islam, and the population is 6.5 million. Now I'll let Sampras continue on with the tour and Riyadh's architecture.
One of the most major characteristics of Riyadh architecture is merging modern and traditional Islamic styles. The modern part is regular geometric shape, simple lines, sharp edges, glass windows, and advertisement billboards. The historical part is the lotus petal shaped decorations on the walls and outside the shops. The buildings alongside rows of field floors and materials are mud and clay. For the buildings in the commercial center would be the skyscrapers, and the materials are using steel bars and enhanced glass windows. One of the historical heritage is Almasmak Castle. It occupies a prominent place in history. It represents the blessed march that led to the foundation and unification of Islamic kingdom. Musmak in the name means thick, high, and fortified. It was built during 1299 to 1315. It was a depot before and now is a heritage landmark which promotes tourism. The facilities are gates of palace, the masjid, the sitting place, which is a saloon, and the well and the watchtower. The gates of the palace is made of palm and tamarisk trunk with a thickness of 10 cm. There is an opening at the center of the beam, which called the skylight, a small door that permits the entry of only one person while bending down. It means that it respects the emperor. It is witnessed the fierce battle between King Abulaziz and his opponents. It is easy to see the bayonet, which was broken at the gates. For the mosque is a large room with many pillars and shapes for the Holy Quran, Mary. Here is the appearance of the castle. It was made by clay and mud, and we can see a two water tower of a side. Also, we can see this picture with a door made of wood, which is very traditional Islamic style. For the sitting place, which is a saloon, is made of many Western styles. For example, the sofa, the pattern is very Western styles and modern, and also the decorations are very modern too. For the watchtowers, there are four corners of Almasmak Castle, which called the Almobra. This means a square, and it overlooks the palace through the upper balcony. The stairs leading to the first floor and the roofs. There are three residential units. The first is the residence for the ruler. The second was used as the treasury, and the third is specified for the guest. We can see that the Islamic culture is very emphasized on the safety of rulers, treasury, and the guest. For the watchtower, we can see that it's very tall, and that is for protecting the whole castle. This is an overlook of the whole castle. We can see that the main buildings are built within the castle, and that is protected by the watchtower. It is made of clay and mud. In the castle, male and female visitors are separated due to religious reasons because male and female cannot walk alone. Female cannot visit alone and must be wearing burqa, which is a traditional clothing. On the right-hand side, we can see the visiting hours of our Muslim Museum, which has separated boys and girls and male, female, and families.
Of our city tour is the Murabba Palace, which is only about half a mile away from our first stop. It was built by King Abdulaziz in 1936 and was completed in 1945. It was intended to be the residence for the Saudi Arabian royal family. This architecture has shown a mixture of historical architectural style and modern building technology. The construction of the palace had introduced three modern technologies into the Saudi society for the first time: the use of automobile for transportation, electricity as power generator, and water closets with drainage system. The building is 2 stories high and has 32 rooms. It was a cubic-shaped architecture in overall. Most of its parts presented themselves in a square or rectangular shape. The architecture used to serve as a residence for a royal family. It also includes certain service facilities and diwans, which is a type of audience hall. This is the gate of the Murabba Palace. The palace is surrounded by a huge brick wall with 9 gates. The main gate was originally on the west side, but then the gate on the southern side became the main entrance instead. The main reason for that is the southern gate was much closer to a nearby mosque. The design of the building adopted a symmetrical structure with a natural lighting design. Abundant amount of sunlight covers the whole palace. You can hardly find a dark corner in the palace during daytime. There are also lots of doors to separate different sections of the palace. The Murabba Palace today no longer serves as a residence for the royal family. It was renovated in 1999 to become a museum that is open for public visit, and is part of the King Abdulaziz Historical Center today. The ground floor is used as the guard's room and warehouse to store food, coffee, wood, and other materials used for cooking. The upper floor consists of salons and visitors' waiting room. Some garments and crafts that were worn or used by the royal family are being exhibited as well. Our next stop is the Tuareg Palace. It was built in 1985 and had won the Aga Khan Award for its design in 1998. It serves as a venue for government functions, cultural festivals, and state receptions. The Saudi government aims to promote Saudi culture to the international world and boost cultural interaction and communication between Saudi Arabia and the world. The design of the Tuareg Palace adopted lots of spine and tent shapes. It has combined traditional solidity and openness with modern technology. It was built with the idea of oasis in the desert, as Riyadh is a city built in the desert. The building consists of curve-shaped complex planes that gradually reduces into exterior walls to form a hollow area underneath, which is known as the backbone. 3 Teflon fiberglass and 2 cable networks are hung on the upper level of the complex. The walls are made with reinforced concrete. The white tents are made of fiberglass fabric coated with Teflon. An additional layer of thin membrane coated fiberglass is added to help protect the structure against high temperature in the summer. Stores which are on the side facing the garden are covered with glass tiles with drawings.
Let's take a look at another example, which is the Al Rajhi Grand Mosque. It is the largest mosque in the city, and other function is an Islamic institution. We can see that many families would take their own children to the large mosque for the prayers and the institutions. This is a tower, and we can see that the people there are wearing the traditional clothing and go inside the mosque. It is for education purpose, which the Friday prayers are translated into 7 different languages and for the hearing impaired through multiple LCD screens. There is also 2 libraries and forensic science course. It has an 18,000 person capacity for men's hall and 2015 for the women's area. That's a small conclusion on Riyadh's historical heritage. It respects the traditional cultures which preserved buildings' appearance and rules. It takes into account to human life in modern times. It changed the usage to a more widely used, for example, institutions and tourist spots. It also considers history and the environment, like using natural materials and many plants surrounded. The architecture reflects the culture of one place too. There's unequal treatment between male and female. Males has lower social status.
Now, for the culture of Riyadh. The culture consists of four aspects: religion, custom and traditions, clothing, and food. The religion of all citizenship holders in Saudi Arabia are Muslims. Non-Muslim residents live in the country only for work and various purposes but are not given citizenship. There is minimal or zero freedom of religion for the citizens. Saudis follow Sunni Islam. It is what shows their religious identity and is known as pure Islam. It is a very strict type of Islamic religion. It is taught in all schools. And it prohibits the venerations of statues, books, and shrines, and one should instead pray to one God. For the custom and traditions, firstly the naming conventions. A Saudi person's name says a lot about their ancestry and where they are from, so many people are able to recite the name of their great-grandfathers back to many generations. It is a common name pattern in Saudi Arabia. Communication style. Being rude, causing offense, or looking ungracious is worse than death in Saudi culture, so you will generally find a friendly, relaxed, and indirect communication style. Saudis also love to flatter guests, and it is common to ask very personal questions to them. Personal space. Saudis feel comfortable standing close to one another when together. However, between sexes, the distance is much greater, with men generally trying to avoid eye contact with women who are not related to themselves, as it is considered a sin in Saudi Arabia. Saudi people's clothing is very simple. First, a man wears a gutra on his head, which is a red and white checkered square-shaped cloth, along with a robe which is called a thob. For the gutra, it is covered by a nikal, which is a black coat on the top. Women have an option of four types of clothing. Firstly, the hijab, which covers the head. Then the chadr, which only covers the upper body. Then there's the niqab, which covers the whole body except the eyes. And finally, the burqa, which covers the whole body with the eyes. Now, moving on to the food culture. There are many famous street food and traditional dishes in Riyadh. For example, the yugish, which is a bread filled with juicy meat, sabosa, which is a samosa with cheese and veggies or meat in it, and also kulfi, which is basically like an ice cream. There are many traditional dishes in Riyadh. Two of them are shawarma and kabsa. Shawarma is when meats such as chicken, lamb, beef, turkey are roasted for one day and kept heated on a rotating seek. Then it's cut into small blocks of meat and it's served with bread. Whereas for kabsa, it is a family of mixed rice dishes that originates from Saudi Arabia. The traditional Saudi Arabian dish is made with rice and meat. Here you can see different types of meat being roasted on a seek. Thank you very much for your time, and this is the end of our video presentation. Thank you.